So I've been building a lot of positive habits for the past 6 months. Cold showers, going to the gym. Most of it are actually uncomfortable to do. And throughout the end of the video, I always say, if you go easy in life, then life will be hard. But if you go hard in life, then life will be easy. Find comfort in discomfort. The habit of meditation itself is by far the easiest and the most comfortable to maintain that habit. So if it is easy, does it actually give any benefit into my life? The answer is, of course, yes. In fact, it shapes or yields one of the best skills in my opinion, and that is self-control. So far, I've meditated every single day for the past 6 to 7 months. Personally, meditation is easy, but it's harder than you think. So what you gotta do is that you gotta find a position to sit where you feel alert with your surrounding, but you're comfortable at the same time. Then you start to take a deep breath, holding it for a few seconds before releasing that breath. So while you're doing so, I want you to focus on your breath, and I want you to focus on the air, the oxygen that is filling inside your lungs. And when you release that breath, I want you to focus on the air that is slowly coming out of your body. And then you can feel that your shoulders relaxing a little bit, you're less tensing up. I mean, it sounds really simple, right? You just gotta focus on your breath, but it gets quite hard when you're doing it for quite a while. Your mind will wander, thinking about whether you have already fed your cat or the next task that you should do right after you meditate. And the way I think about it, meditation is like weight training, but it's actually for your brain. So whenever your brain wanders around thinking about anything else rather than your breath, you slowly acknowledge that thought instead of judging it and slowly pull your focus back to the breath. So if you thought of your next task after you meditate, slowly pull that thought and focus back on the breath. Maybe you thought of canceling your plan of going out with your friends, acknowledge that thought, and then slowly pull your focus back to the breath. So whenever you're doing this, whenever you acknowledge that your mind has wandered somewhere else, or you know that you've already distracted, and then when you pull your focus back to the breath, when that happens, it's like you're doing one rep of like bench press or like push up or like bicep curl, but it is for your brain. In the modern world, where it is much easier to get distracted, and your brain is filled with dopamine that is just past your normal level by just simply scrolling through social media. And because of that, our attention span gradually decreases over time. When I started my meditation journey back in December 2022, I used an application called Medito, and they have a feature of guided meditation where the shortest that they can do is 3 minutes. And I think the longest that they can do is around 30 minutes or an hour. I was a very beginner when it comes to meditation, so I tried the shortest, which is 3 minutes. But you know what? For my very first 5 to 10 sessions of 3-minute meditation, I couldn't even last for 3 minutes. That's what C said. Yeah. And that simply shows how my attention span was just so bad. But I practiced it every single day for the past 6 months, and now on average I think I'm doing like around 10 minutes of guided meditation every single day. And I think the longest I've been on one session of meditation is around an hour, just simply sitting and focusing on my breath. So what meditation does is that it forms your focus. It helps me to become much more present, and it's really helpful for your day-to-day life if you practice the habit of meditation every single day. It's not that I'm able to focus more, which also the benefit that I've been getting, but it's about being more mindful about yourself. So around 2 or 3 months after I meditated, I remember that I was having an argument with someone very close to me. Suddenly I became much more mindful with the word that I was about to say, which makes me really thought of the word before I say it out. Like, if I say this, how would that make them feel? Would it actually solve the solution, or is it going to offend them more and putting fuel to the fire? When I was having a thought, I was really surprised that I'm able to do that now. So I ended up us talking through the problem until the end, and I don't think I can get through that kind of conversation or being mindful if I don't practice meditation. So in another situation, I was working, and as I finished uploading my videos on YouTube, YouTube kind of redirect you to the homepage, and it is filled with recommendation of new videos that is ready for you to watch. Even though most of the recommended videos on YouTube are actually self-improvement, but I immediately snapped back and realized that wait, I'm almost distracted again, instead of going through other people's video and then waste your time. So being mindful and having self-control is kind of different, but they go hand in hand together when it comes to breaking your bad habits. Being mindful actually helps you to find your own triggers. It's like you have that new friend beside you that will constantly tell you, hey, you're distracted again, so why don't you go back to do whatever that you plan to do in the first place? And that is where self-control comes along. See, if you're mindful but you don't practice self-control, then it just doesn't make sense, because you know that you're distracted, but if you don't have self-control, then you will ultimately choose to be distracted. And that is why it is important to build your self-control, because it is like that willpower that will resist urges or like your bad habits that is in your life. So aside from self-control and being mindful, meditation helps me to live a much more present life. So whenever I find myself anxious about the future that hasn't happened yet, or if I find myself doing the cringy action back in high school or things that I regret doing, I would shift back to this present moment right now much easier. And I think that's probably why people say meditation helps you to reduce your stress, reduce your anxious, or maybe reduce your depression, something like that. So if you're on self-improvement, I definitely recommend you guys to try meditation on a daily basis. It helps me to focus more, be more productive, increase my willpower, self-control, being more mindful, being more present. And currently I'm on like day 15 of NoFap right now, and meditation definitely helps to find my triggers, and it really helps to prevent me from relapsing. So it's just crazy how many benefits that you can get simply from sitting and focusing on your breath. So I really recommend you guys to try meditation. It can be as little as 5 minutes per day, even though I recommend at least 10 minutes, because after you hit the 6 minute, the 7 minute mark, you're just in this different space and zone where you feel internally and genuinely happy, and it's kind of a weird feeling, but it feels really, really good. I find it that the more you meditate on a daily basis, the more benefits that you can simply get out of it. Although I don't recommend you guys to meditate like 8 hours a day, that would be crazy, right? At least 10 minutes a day, that would do the job. Remember, if you go easy in life, then life will be hard, but if you go hard in life, then life will be easy. Find comfort in discomfort. See you in the next video. Cheers.